How's it going, guys? Today I am replacing my intake manifold, whatever this thing's called, this red bit here. So what I've done so far is I've taken off the air filter, the intake pipe, the MAF sensor, which is in there, and I've taken off this little joiner bit which goes between the MAF and this red intake is the new one. This is the old one in here, and you can see down in there, it's pretty dark. I'll try and get a phone torch. So you can see this, that's the turbo there, and there's a big hole right where my finger is. All of that is just a massive hole. So all the air's getting in, extra air's getting in, which isn't good because it can make the car run lean, I think. Alright guys, so I've got the intercooler out, which is over here. I just kept working in the dark, which isn't probably the best idea. It's the next day now. I've actually had a change of plans. I'm not going to take the entire intake manifold off because I did manage to get out the turbo inlet pipe without actually taking that off. I just managed to slice all the little parts off. Like, I just ended up ripping them off with the pliers in the end and cutting down all this. So that used to actually sit like that and have this hose in between, but you can see the hose is actually like just eaten through it and it's rotted away, and that is actually connected to the turbo, so that's probably why it's it gets really hot. And then it had one small tear in it when I last looked at it, and then yesterday when I looked at it, it was just all monged. But you can see the difference in size. So this new one is actually a lot bigger. So you can see here how the little elbow part there is just way fatter here. So I think we're going to have to end up cutting through that. And all of these, I'm not sure what this one is. I don't know what this, there is nothing here. You can see there's nothing really there. This one is where this is, so we're going to cut that down and feed this little pipe in after we've put it in, so we can pretty much cut that down all the way to there. I think they make it with extra hose so you can cut it to your own size. This little thing here, I'm not actually sure what that is for. It's got this little, you can see this line here, that's where it goes into. So this was only about that long before I cut it off, so with this one we're going to cut it right around there, and then they just give you these little things and they slide in and you just put a hose clamp around them. So I went and bought some new hose clamps and stuff. And this one is actually for the blow off valve, so I've already put this little metal thing, I've already clamped that onto this blow off valve return. So we're going to cut that. Pretty much what we're going to do is we've got a like a knife, a Stanley knife thing. We're going to clamp the hose down so it's on there, and then we're just going to cut around so it's a straight cut. So I'm just going to do that now for all of them. This one here I didn't mention, that's where the oil catch can went into, so I think I'm just going to slice that off straight, and then where is it? It's not that one. There must be another one of these little metal things somewhere, and we're just going to sit that straight up and put the oil catch can into there. So that's the plan at the moment. I'm going to start cutting this, and yeah. So we're just going to keep going around and slicing until it goes all the way through. got those 3 end ones that are going to be the these parts are going to be the ones that are going to make it hard to get in. These ones are all on the other side of the intake manifold, so the intake manifold sort of comes across there, so this one isn't really, like, we don't really need to worry about that one at the moment. But let's try and sort of slide this in there, and it's going to be very, very difficult, I can already tell, because we have to get it underneath there and through to the turbo, which is all the way back there. So it's really, really tight in there. This intake manifold is really, really hard to get off. I've left the throttle body off because I'm waiting for a new gasket for that. I ordered that from Subaru and I'll have to go pick it up on Monday. So we've got the turbo inlet, and I've also picked up some silicone lubricant, which I'm hoping will let us slide it in there a lot easier. So I'm just going to coat the top of this with this stuff and hope that it goes in. Put some around the all these parts as well. So I have no idea how hard this is going to be, but a lot of people have told me that it's quite a mission to get it all the way in there, especially with all these little nubs and stuff, and you don't want to like puncture it and have a hole in there because that would not be good. So we can get it through there, but it's just not going in the right direction. So we sort of want it to go underneath there, but it's heading over there. Not sure if you guys can see very well, but further in than it was before. You can see right down that little red nipple thing, that's got to be on the other side, just down underneath that. So there is still a little bit to go, and that is one bit that's concerning me, because you can see right where it is, it's like got this big sort of bump there that it has to sort of fold through. But you can probably see just in there, you can see that it's sort of peeking through the other side, so we're getting it in there. Yeah, I'll just come back when I've got it a bit further in. So it's the next day. It's been 3 days now that I've been working on this, just because it's been dark. It's now the weekend, so I'm able to work on it all day, but I've got the entire thing in. It's all the way onto the turbo. So last night I just ended up giving up because I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't go in. It was just completely stuck. And I ended up taking off this coolant reservoir thing, and you can see right down in there, I might have to get a torch. There is a hose clamp right there. You see that little thing there? That was actually twisted and it was facing upwards. So what it was doing is this hose clamp was actually like puncturing through the thing, and I kept on pushing on it and it just wouldn't go anywhere. But then I ended up taking this coolant thing off, and yeah, then it slipped straight through and it's all the way onto the turbo now. I've just got to do up that hose clamp. But now there's another issue where this little opening there is supposed to be a bit further forward, so you can get the blow-off valve return into there. but you can see there is like some little bracket right in the middle of it, so I'm gonna have to there's like a 10mm bolt under there. I'm probably gonna undo that and try and bend the bracket down, so we can, you know, plumb up the blower valve. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and get that sorted now, and that's pretty much all we have to do. Then we're just gonna add in our little like holes and stuff. We're gonna put in the metal pieces and tie them up with our hose clamps, and then hopefully put everything back in. I'm still waiting on a gasket for this throttle body, so I won't be able to do it all today. I'll have to go pick that up from Subaru on Monday, which is 3 days away, or 2 days away now. It's Saturday. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to actually drive the car until then, but that's alright. We'll get everything else in except the intercooler, because the intercooler obviously connects to the back of that, so I can't put the intercooler in until we put that in. But everything else seems to be alright. So it's now Monday. I've got my new gasket from Subaru, and we're pretty much ready to put everything back together. All that we've got to put back together is this stuff here. We've got the intercooler, a few hose clamps. I'm going to actually use the offcut of the what we cut off of here. I don't know if I showed you guys, but I blocked up that hole with a little blocker, plastic blocker thing. All that's in place now. The intake is all set and ready. It was a bit tough getting that in. It's a lot tighter than it was before because we couldn't cut. This used to sit further back over this way, so I cut as much as pretty much as much as we could get off there, without getting it, because you can see this little, I don't even know what this thing's for, but that's in the way. So if we cut it any further, then we wouldn't be able to clamp it down properly. It would be like all weird. So that's pretty much as good as we're going to get it. And now all we've got to do is put the throttle body back on, which is what this gasket is for. It goes in there on top of that. So I'll open that up and put that in. And then all we've got to do is put the intercooler in. And yeah, as I said, I'm going to use that used to sit there, but that's the perfect size to use on the intercooler. So I'm just going to use that instead of the rubber stock one. Alright, so the throttle body is now on there. You can see the gasket. I don't know why they have this extra little lip bit there, but that's how it was. It's the Subaru OEM part, so that's how it's supposed to be. Now we can connect the throttle cable, which is this one here. Can connect that in. It just goes sort of, it sits in this little thing here, and then you do those bolts up after you get this cable all the way under in there. So I'll do that now. So now this is the fun part, getting back, putting the intercooler back in. It's really difficult just because this intercooler is actually out of a 2005 WRX and this is a 1999 WRX, so it wasn't made to actually fit in there. We need to get that onto the turbo, and we also need to get this silicone part between there and get it to actually fit in. It's pretty difficult. Alright guys, so it got really dark really quick again, but everything's pretty much in there. The intercooler is all put in, the bracket's in there, and the blower valve's put on. So if I'm not forgetting anything, the whole car is pretty much put back together. I don't think I showed you guys these catch can hoses. You see those clear white looking hoses there? I went and picked up some new ones because my ones were all like split and like just weren't working. They were all like hard, so you couldn't even bend it. It was like really stiff. But these ones are all pretty good. They're brand new ones, and I've got like I bought 2 meters of that hose, so if one of these ones decides to like mess up or something, I don't really know what can go wrong with them, but if one of them does, I do have some spare, so that's good. Cold starts, you can see the needles moving up and down a little bit, like just slightly. I'm not too sure what that is, but maybe it's normal. It's not too much. It's only like going up and down like 100 revs, I guess. But everything else seems to be